Escapes reviews, Arc Escapes builds, Arc Escapes modifies RC testing around the track, Arc Escapes discovers what they boast and what they lack, steering cars remotely, building better machines, testing cars around the track remote while spinning dreams, radio control, little cars that rock and roll.
Hey up, how do? Thank you again for turning that dial and tuning in this channel and joining us to take a look at Tamiya's Lunchbox. This is a new kit that I've just put together. It is a reissue of an older kit which I think dated back to 1981. I remember this, I think I had one of these when I was younger. I can't remember, I had so many of them. But this is a new reissue, and so I've already built it. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It's very retro, very retro. Vanessa's, here we go, Vanessa's Lunchbox. That's right. I don't know why it's called a lunchbox. I don't know why. I have to look that one up. So one of the things I like about Vanessa's Lunchbox is these big old tires right here. And they're just so fun, aren't they? Very bouncy. That's going to add to the fun enjoyment when controlling the car. But one thing that makes me a little bit warm and fuzzy, or just makes me feel good, is actually squeezing the wheels like that. Listen to it. Oh, that feels good. It's so good. I better stop it before I get too excited about doing that. I think this is going to be fun to take around the track. But I wanted to do something a little different with it because I took it for a little spin along the driveway here, and then the stuff that came with the kit, the motor and electronic speed control were pretty much hopeless. So I wanted to turn this into a brushless system, which is an engine without brushes on the magnet. So that means it'll go faster, it will handle better. And then also wanted it to be better integrated to this Sanra MTS remote control here. So I wanted it to work really good with this. And so I also put in the receiver for that. Let me show you a couple of things I've done in order to make this into a brushless system. There's a couple of things you've got to have. And one of those things is, it's good to have a LiPo battery. That's not your NIMH or your NIMH battery, but the LiPo battery, which are the new batteries of today. They make the engines go a lot faster. When you have one of those, you do have to put a brushless motor into it, electric motor. You can't use the brush with the LiPo. And then you've got to get a special speed control too that can handle it. So that's another reason why I can't use the old ones that came with the kit here. But let me show you some things I did to this in order to get all this to fit. First of all, let's take off the body. So let me see if I can do that. And here we go, we take off this, hold on by these little pins here. You can see these little pins on the side. So you take these out, just like that. And you take this pin out, oh, just like this. And a little tip for you is these pins come straight, right? And so what I like to do is bend these pins for this particular vehicle, because when you're trying to pull out a straight pin, it's really hard. So take a piece of pliers and just bend the pin over so you can get an easy grab. Just like we're going to the other side. Here we go. So I grab it here, I just pull. Super easy. Now if that was straight and not bent, this would be a lot harder to do. Anyway, let's continue taking the body off. Here we go. It's hard to see over this thing. You know, it's quite big, it's got quite a big body to it. The lunchbox. Anyway, here we go, let's take this body off here. So I guess you pry open the sides here like this. Like I said, just finished putting this together. So let's put this off to the side here. And then here, you can see inside Vanessa's Lunchbox. Oh, sounds a bit naughty. But anyways, there's inside Vanessa's Lunchbox. Well, while we got Vanessa opened up here, one of the hardest things on putting these kits together is not actually the kit itself. It's actually how do you do the wiring. So I just thought I'd just go over a brief explainer on how everything is hooked up regarding the wiring and show you how I did this. So let's see how Vanessa is wired up, shall we? So it all starts with a power source, and that power source right here is located right here, which is a LiPo battery, okay, which you saw earlier. And then this battery here has a cable coming from it right here. It's got a positive and a negative. And this battery came with a Dean's connector. It's like a T connector. I think these are the best kind of connectors for wiring on a radio controlled car or buggy. And then from this power source, this then connects to what we call the electronic speed control, which is the ready speed control here. And then this has a positive and negative wire, negative being black, positive being red, and this also has a Dean connector. This actually did come with a Dean's connector, and so did the battery, so that was very easy. And so what you do is you hook these together right here and make sure that it goes in just right here. So the red and then the black, and you just push it in. It's as easy as that. And so you see here, we've got the power source is coming through here and then transferring to the electronic speed controller, okay? So that's really easy. So red and black to red and black, from speed controller to battery, from battery to speed controller, right? So the next step is on this speed controller here, we have a little wire right here, okay? It's almost like a servo wire right here that will connect to the receiver. So this is the receiver right here, and this is a Sanyo receiver. That's all set up with my transmitter here, and that's got to be binded together so they work together well. And I'm not going to say that's an easy thing to do, because it takes a couple of times to get it to work. It's never 100% accurate, but when you get it to work, it's good. But just follow the instructions of your transmitter and your receiver on how to bind them, and that'll be good. But you've got a plug from here, from the electronic speed controller, that goes to the receiver, okay? So once again, from battery to the electronic speed controller, the electronic speed controller has a wire and a plug that will plug into your receiver, and that's typically channel number 2 is what channel that goes into. Now, the only last part of the wiring, or one of the last parts of the wiring, second to last actually, is the channel 1 of your receiver, okay, being this wire in particular here, will go to the steering servo, which is right here. And I've put a reedy steering servo in. And then that reedy steering servo fits very nicely with the Sanyo transmitter or receiver. Okay, it gets confusing, trying to make it easy. And then this servo is what makes the wheels turn. Right here, like this. So there's a servo. Here's a servo cable, and it goes into the receiver, okay? And then so let's receive again. So you got the battery, the power source, and then the cables from the battery, the red and black, go then to the electronic speed controller, which also are red and black, through this Dean's connector, okay? And then the electronic speed controller has a cable, this one right here, that goes to the receiver into channel 2 of this receiver. Now, we also got a servo for the steering. That servo has a cable here, and it connects to channel 1 of the receiver, okay? So you got that so far? So that's pretty easy, all that. And then you're saying, well, how do you hook up the motor? Well, here's my motor. Let's turn it around. Right here, you can kind of see the motor, and it's a reedy 3,300 kV. I like reedy motors. I think they're the most reliable motors on the market, but some of you may disagree. But I like reedy equipment and team associated equipment. So this is the motor here, and it's got a red wire and a yellow wire and a black wire, okay? And then these wires here go to the speed controller, which is right here, okay? So these 3 wires that show right here attach to these 3 wires coming from the speed controller, okay? Now, this was a little bit tricky because this speed controller isn't color coded, even though they're both reedy products. That's a bit stupid, isn't it? They're all black. And then, so you have to figure out which goes to which. Generally, you just line them up on the table together. So the center cable, right, goes here, goes to the center cable coming out of your motor, okay? So center black will go to the yellow cable of the motor. And then, respectively, the right would go to the right, and then the left would go to the left. And then you should be in good shape, okay? Sometimes they are color-coded if you're fortunate enough, but most likely they're gonna look like this. And that's the wiring of the buggy. So it's pretty simple. So I try to keep all my electronics in all my vehicles, don't care if it's Tamiya or Kyosho or whatever they are, I like it all to be reedy, okay? It just is a lot easier. I like all my connectors to be the Dean's connectors, the T connectors. They're just dummy proof, like I said. So that's the insides of Tamiya's Lunchbox. Just thought that'd be good to explain. And I hope this becomes easier for you newbies. You experienced people will know a lot more than I do. But for newbies out there, it's kind of simple. It might look complicated, don't get overwhelmed by it, okay? It's actually pretty simple. Just remember that electronic speed control is the heart of your car. In other words, this is Vanessa's heart. And it's what keeps the beat pounding to kind of operate all the other parts of the car, okay? But that's how it works. So I hope that kind of clears that up. I thought it'd be a good time to show that. So, here we go. Here's Vanessa's Lunchbox, and here's her chassis right here with all the mods that we've done, or that I've done. And just want to take you on a tour of Vanessa's Lunchbox here. Absolutely love these big old tires. Lots of fun those would be. Also, what was interesting enough, I had a Hornet when I was younger, and that's another project we're going to put together. I think it's in a little bit, but I recognize this here, this transmission box here where the motor goes into, which powers the back wheels, because this is rear wheel drive. This is actually a Hornet transmission box right there, right off a Hornet. That would surprise me. And then this right here, this little mechanism here, this is called a wheelie bar, because what happens is when you gas that controller, and then it goes, it pulls the wheelie like that, the little wheelie bar stops it from doing a backflip. So it stops it from crashing there. So that's a good thing that they put on there. Love that. Excited to do some wheelies. I guess it's a bit like the old Wow Wheelie. Remember that first kit that Tamiya did? And then look at this front bumper. It's another bumper from Hornet. This is from the Hornet kit. This is actually, we're using quite a lot of parts from the Hornet. I don't know what came first, the Lunchbox or the Hornet. I don't know, let me know. And then here we got the suspension here that I put together. We've got the metal here of the suspension. And then these are the dampers, and they've got oil in it, and I put medium weight oil in it so that then I have just the right amount of shock absorption here. Didn't want it too hard or too soft. I wanted it medium. So I went ahead and put medium weight oil in there, damper oil from Tamiya, and you can get that. And then here are the little clips for the body here. This is all the chassis, and we call this a tub chassis. And these are pretty prevalent in a lot of these older retro cars. The Hornet had a tub chassis, for instance, and they just protect all the insides. And actually the RC10 I got has a tub chassis, but here you got a plastic tub with all the electronic parts inside. Okay, I think it's time to put this body back on, don't you? So let's put this body back on. I like it when it, oh yes, I like that click, when everything clicks in place. And then here's the pin I talked to you about. You remember me saying that I bent the clip? Yeah, let me see if I can see how I bent that? That makes it a lot easier to put in. So if I put this in here, all I do is just push down on it like that, and voila, it's in. Now without bending that would have been a whole lot harder. Let's do the other one here, so you can see how easy it is. See, push, now you can just push that pin in. Now if that was straight, that would have been very difficult. Okay, let's turn the vehicle around. Okay, here we go. And then we're gonna put the other pins in. So put a pin in here. And then we'll put the last final pin in. There we go. The hole, and there we go. There we go. Ah, good. Okay, so here we are. We have put Vanessa's body back onto Vanessa's chassis, and here is the truck all nice and complete. And really the only thing left to do now is to take Vanessa for a ride. So let's take her out to the dirt track and see how she performs.
Radio control cars, electric power to the wheels. Arc Escapes reviews, Arc Escapes builds. Arc Escapes modifies RC testing around the track. Arc Escapes discovers what they boast and what they lack. Steering cars remotely, building better machines. Testing cars around the track, remote wheel spinning dreams. Radio control, new cars that rock and roll. Race them in the dirt, race them on the sand, race them on the road, any surface on the land. Yeah! Radio control. Radio control. Radio control. Radio they boast and what they lack. Steering cars remotely, building better machines, testing cars around the track, remote wheel spinning dreams. Radio control, little cars that rock and roll. Race them in the dirt, race them on the sand, race them on the road, any surface on the land. Yeah! Radio control. Radio